Right, new T6 headlight video. We've decided to do this video to help you understand a few things that you might come across when fitting these. Most importantly, how to code them. So the headlights come out of the factory with a H7 and a H1 bulb. The H7 is your dip beam and your H1 is your main beam. The headlights will do what your van tells it to do. So your van is currently telling it, if you had the original headlights, telling it to turn the dip beam off when the main beam comes on. Now the van has the ability to keep both of those on at the same time. If you'd had ordered your van with a light and vision pack out the factory, they would already do that. So we're just going to show you how to tick that box with VCDS. And have we just found out Carista does it as well? Does it, yeah, I think yesterday we saw somebody say that you can now do it with Carista. But it's dead simple, just a tick box, and you'll be able to keep your dip beam on when your main beam comes on, which makes a massive difference to the output on the road. The reason why we don't make them do it out the factory is if your van had the light and vision pack, it's going to conflict with that information that your van's trying to tell it to do. So it's so much better to make the lights not do it and then you activate that feature inside the van. There are people that do looms to do this job, but it's just not the right way to do it. Your van has the ability to do it, so there's no point trying to trick it into doing it with the loom. They just cause problems down the line. You can have error code, you can have, I've seen the looms burn out. It's just not the safe and the right way to do it. So this is the best way to do it, nice and simply and nice and cleanly, just ticking a box on your ECU. The other thing we're going to get show you in this video is how to fit our LED bulbs and how you can make a H1 LED bulb work. So we've sold many H7 LED bulbs for these, which are brilliant. They light the road so well. There's a whole video based on those, and we've not yet been able to make a H1 bulb work with a T6 light. And the reason being is you need the bigger canvas resistor to stop a warning light coming on the dash. And the problem is we can't get that canvas resistor to do everything we need it to do and be small enough to still fit in the back of the light housing. So it is really simple. Again, if you're using VCDS, you can fit our H1 LED that's for currently used in the T5.1 lights that we do. And again, just tick a box to turn off that bulb warning monitoring, so you can have the benefit of having the LEDs in your H7 and your H1 bulb. But we'll run you through how to do that on this van here. So this van here has the chrome version of lights in it. So if you just turn the lights off, Mikey. So you can see, we've shown you this before, but we're going to show you all three versions because we now do the chrome, the black and the limited edition version. So here's the chrome version, all chrome here, and then you've got your white clouded diffuser, and then we'll show you the other two versions later on in the video. So in this van, we fitted the H7 LEDs that don't need code in there, plug and play. And then we've also fitted our H1 LEDs, and we're just going to show you how to turn the feature on so you can keep the dip and the main beam on, whether you've got LEDs here or not, and also how to, if you decide to go for the H1 LEDs here, the T5.1 H1 LEDs here, how to turn off the bulb monitoring so the vehicle's not, you don't get a warning light when you turn them on. Right, so Mike is going to run you through how to do the code inside of things. So VCDS had an update a couple of weeks ago, so it's changed and it's slightly more complicated than it used to be. Once you know where the bytes are, it's relatively simple, but it's slightly harder to find. But we'll just run you through now how you do the options. So the first option will be how to turn your main beam so it stays on with your dip beam. After that, we'll tell you how to turn off your headlight monitoring for your main beam if you want to fit our H1 LEDs in there. And then finally, sometimes we get people ring up and everything's right, but they're getting a warning light, and it's because they're fitted aftermarket rear lights that aren't ours, so like Van X rear lights, or if they're fitted T6.1 rear lights, it can throw the canvas out. They're just not canvas sensitive enough, so we can tell you how to turn off that monitoring as well. So I'll hand you over to Mikey.
So first of all, you've got your obviously your main menu. You want to be going into select control module. After that, you want to be going into 09, which is Central Electrics. From there, we'll go over to coding, into coding 07. Then you want to go into long coding helper. You can do this various other ways, but this is the easiest way of doing it. From here, you want to be going into this section here and putting into byte 22. And then you'll see there at top, bit 2. Forced, low beam forced off. High beam on. You want to untick that box and close that option down and tell it to do it. Coding accepted. You want to go all the way back out. But again, like you say, I'll show you now how to do the headlight monitoring, which you will be back into coding, long coding helper. And then you want to be into this section again, which is byte 16. And then you want to be ticking high beam, bit 7, high beam diagnostics active. close that down again and do it. That will then allow you to fit our H1 LEDs for the high beam.
Okay, so that's that part done. If you then fit different aftermarket rear lights, so it's quite common that people are now fitting T6.1 rear lights into T6s, and on their own they don't seem to cause any issues, but when you start adding other canvas pieces of equipment into the vehicle, it throws up errors. So if you were to do a scan in this case, if you put our front lights in and you've got T6.1 rear lights, VCDS would tell you your fault was with your rear lights. So we will just show you now how to access that part of VCDS if you need to turn off your rear bulb warning monitoring for any reason. So this can be because you've got, like I said, T6.1 rear lights, you've got an aftermarket tow bar that's been piggybacked off your rear lights. Some of the other manufacturers of rear lights have this issue, so it's really simple. While you're in there, you can turn off that feature if you need to do so.
So back again into coding 07, long coding helper, and then 19. Once you're into 19, give the tip box for lamp diagnostics for tail lights, exit out of that and do it. And you want to be going all the way back out to the main menu, and then you can remove your OBD safely.
So hopefully that's helped you with anything you need to know in the way of coding. So we'll just show you quickly how it's worked on this van. So this is the H7 LEDs in, working nicely, and then as Mikey puts the main beam on, you'll see that the dip beam stays on as well, super bright. If I just show you the front of the warehouse, you'll see how bright that light is. And then inside the vehicle, you'll see there's no warning lights on the dash at all. It's all clear, there's no bulb warning lights out. So as you've probably seen, we do a H7 LED and a H1 LED. So the H7 LEDs work perfectly in our T5.1 and our T6 lights, no need for coding, plug and play, works straight away, no error codes. The H1 LED works perfectly in a T5.1 without any error codes, but on a T6 you need to turn off the bulb warning monitoring as we've just shown in the video. We've been trying to develop a H1 that doesn't do this for a T6, but the truth is you need a canvas resistor that's that big to stop it doing it, that you can't fit it at the back of the headlight. So the T5.1 versions work absolutely fine. No flickering, no issues other than it puts a warning light on the dash, but you can code them out as we've just shown you in the video. So one thing we get asked quite a lot is why our headlights say this, for off-road use only. And the reason being is you're not legally or not technically supposed to fit an LED bulb in this country, although tens of thousands of people do. We took these, I took a van for an MOT with these bulbs in, and it passed the MOT. We tried several MOT centres and it passed the MOT in all of them. And when we pointed out that the vehicle had LED bulbs in, the MOT technician said the same. That's not their job to pick fault with them being LED. Their job is just to make sure they have the correct beam pattern, which they do. So you won't have any problems at all fitting these in your vehicle. You're not technically supposed to, but so many people do. I've ran them in lots of vans. We've sold thousands of them, and we've not had one person say they've had any problems. So we showed you the chrome light on the van we just fitted them to, and then these are the other two colour versions that we do. So we do the black version, which is still the most popular version. Very similar to the chrome version, but the edge of the housing here and here is black. Everything else about it is the same. And then this is the more latest version. This is the limited edition version. So this is all black. You'll see it doesn't have the chrome housing and this chrome strip that follows your bumper, your chrome strip in your grille. It's completely black. The entire housing is black. But with this one, we've reverted back to the crystal diffuser. A few reasons. First of all, the white or the smoke diffuser really stood out as being white on this, whereas this is a lot more kind of black. Matches the black grille, kind of murdered out look as people call it, whereas this one is your more traditional, more popular one with a bit of chrome that follows the line of the grille. The other thing is some people didn't particularly like the crystal diffuser, some people didn't particularly like the smoke diffuser. They preferred the crystal one because a genuine T6 has more of a crystal one. The downside to the crystal one is you can see the LED dots slightly better than you can with the white one, but the output of them is brighter because you don't have the whiteness to diffuse the light. So we'll show you them running now. So that's the limited edition version, and then that's the black version with the smoke diffuser. So you can see the camera doesn't pick it up particularly well really, but this is slightly more dotty in the pattern. whereas that one's more solid because it's the smoke diffuser that's doing it. But this one gives a brighter, whiter output. You can see this from a further distance, I suppose, if you're being really picky, than you can with that one. So that's these headlights running through the sequence. So it's just showing you what happens when you go from your daytime running light, and then you indicate, and then when that turns off, it goes back to the daytime running light. So the other thing we spend quite a lot of our time doing is explaining to people that their bulbs are fitted wrong, and it's really easy to do. So we're just going to run you through exactly how to fit a bulb right. I hear like every single day, oh, my beam pattern's terrible, my output's terrible, my mate fitted the bulbs and he's a trained mechanic and he knows how to fit a bulb, and he still fit the bulb wrong. And it's not because they're stupid, or it's just so easy to fit them wrong. We'll explain why now. So we'll show you how to fit standard bulbs, so if you were fitting like the Osram night breakers or the Philips Racing Vision upgrades, and also how you would fit the LED bulbs and get the correct beam pattern, because it's very easy for them to sit on the lip and to throw the beam pattern out. If you're sitting on the lip at the headlight, by the time the beam pattern gets to the road, it's miles out and your output will be terrible. So we'll just show you exactly how to do that now. So once you've removed the old bulb, it's a case of lining the new bulb up correctly. So Mikey will just show you there. So you have to line it up and it sits in nice and neatly there. And the problem that you have is when people put this spring clip down, they put one side down and it pops the bulb off to one side before they put the other side down. Now it only needs to sit it only needs to sit ever so slightly on the lip of the housing, and it's going to throw your beam pattern out massively. And it's really common and really easy to do. You'll look at it from here and it'll look like it's right, but that lip on the edge of the bulb there, Mikey, if you just point to what I mean, if you can see it, that lip there will be sitting ever so slightly, like a degree out, and it's causing it to sit on the lip of the housing, and that's throwing your beam pattern out massively. So that's the first thing to check. If you look like your beam pattern's out, or if you don't look like you're getting the right output, 99.9% of the time, that's all it is. So this obviously is a T6 light. The T5.1 lights are different again. Where that cutout in the bulb sits is completely different, but just as important, it's more common actually on the T5.1s that people line them up incorrectly. But like I said, you just need to make sure it's sitting dead center. You clip both of the spring clips down at the same time, not one at a time, because you pop one down, it lifts the edge, and then you're locking it into the wrong position. So that's your H7 bulb. So onto the H1 bulb. This is a lot harder to get wrong because you'll see that there's a flat spot at the top of the bulb there, and there's a flat point at the top of the bulb there, and that lines up with the flat point on the housing. Again, the same thing applies there, where people pop one spring clip in separately. You do need to try and make sure you get them in together, and you'll see there's the little nipples, the little pimples in the bulb that sit in a hole on the other side there. So just make sure you wiggle it and locate it nice and tightly, make sure it's not moving before you press the two spring clips in neatly. Right, so when it comes to fitting our H7 LEDs, it's always easier to try and do this before you fit the headlights. It's obviously just easier to access it if the headlight's not in situ, although it is doable. In fact, it's easier to fit an LED bulb than it would be just to change a regular bulb, because you have the LED locator ring. So on the H7s, you just twist and remove the locator ring. Same applies as when you're trying to line up the bulb. Line it up so it's sitting central with the cutout in the correct place. Keep it locked into place with your finger where possible, and then press the two spring clips in at the same time to make sure it's sitting nice and central. You can put your finger in there and give it a wiggle around and make sure it's sitting where it should be, and just again have a look at this lip and make sure it's sitting inside the recess on the housing just there. And then with the bulb just slots in and then twists into position. So once you've got it past the locators, you can twist it into position. Then you get hold of the original plug and the socket on the end of your LED, your H7 LED, and you'll see there's a plus on one side and a minus on the other. The plus goes into the blue wire and the minus goes into the black wire. And that's it done. And then make sure you tuck this nice and neatly inside the housing. The whole thing should fit in there. Don't put the resistor over the back of the fan. On the back of the LED bulb, it will slot in there nice and neatly and tucked up out of the way, and then just wrap the wire around there and then put your cover back on again. If you block off the end of the fan, you can get a warning light because it's not allowing it to cool. There you go, and that's your H7 done. Right, so on to the H1 LED. So you'll see the LED here has those two two little locator pins just there, and they locate in the housing. So same applies. You've got a little black clip on the red wire that you pull off on most of them, on the newer versions anyway, and then the black wire you just pop off. the spring clip in and remove the bulb. And then with the LED locator ring on this, it doesn't twist off, it just pulls straight off. So locate that again with those 2 pins to make sure they're lined up in the hole. Press the spring clip in, make sure it's located in place properly, and then just slide the bulb in. And you don't need to twist this one, it just pushes in, and then again on the connector here it's obvious you've got a red to red, and black to black. And then same applies, just make sure you slot the resistor inside the house and it will fit in down the side of the bulb there, and wrap the cable round, and then pop the cover back on. Job done. So while Mikey's putting them back together again, so the only other thing that we get, and I've mentioned this in the video, when you fit in the LEDs, you can get a shadow on the bottom of on your beam pattern on the road. So just turn that LED bulb. You saw on the H7 that you kind of turn it into position. So if you get a shadow, just turn that LED bulb and keep turning it until the shadow disappears off the beam pattern, and then you get the perfect crisp light and the perfect crisp beam pattern, which will kind of kink up towards the side of the road. Right, since we recorded that first bit, we've since learnt that Carista have put the update. There's a beta version, and everybody can download the beta version. So if you've got Carista, they're at 20-25 quid off Amazon. Great tool, shows you how to do loads of things like needle sweep and loads of other little features with your window wipers and bits like that. So well worth having. It's a subscription fee, I think, but it's not very expensive. But you can get the beta version now, and that allows you to turn the feature so that your main beam stays on when your dip beam's on in that beta version, which soon they'll be releasing it to the standard version, but you can download the beta version anyway. There's instructions on the website how to do it, but it's dead simple, and you can now have that feature to be able to activate that. So Mikey will just run you through exactly how you do that now.
So open up your Carista app firstly, connect to your vehicle. Once you're connected to your vehicle, you'll get this menu: diagnose, customise and service. So we'll go into customise, let this load, normally takes a minute or so, and you have this menu here. You can scroll down to lights exterior. Once you're in lights exterior, you'll have turn off low beams when high beams are on. You're going to go into this. It's in yes already, but click to no, and then save. Once this is saved, go back again, back to the main menu, and the changes have been made.
So hopefully that was an informative video, nothing particularly interesting, but a few things that are questions we get asked along the way. We get asked quite a lot about T6.1 lights. Well, they're coming, all the design work's done. I've seen the prototypes, they look spot on. We should have them in the next month or so. We can't wait to get them in this and all the other T6.1s out there, but they look really nice. I think they'll be just as much of a success as our other lights. So keep tuned for that, keep tuned on our social media, keep your eye on our social media, should I say, for updates on the T6.1 lights. Any questions, post them below. Anything else you want to see in the video or a how-to or any YouTube videos, just let us know. Post in the comments below. Mikey's winging it for a spin-off series. He wants to have like a little section on small videos and things that you want to know. So he's your man for that. Keep watching. Like the video, subscribe, share it with anybody. Make sure you ring that little bell to keep notifications when we've got new videos coming. And as always, thanks for watching.